this stuff growing outdoors. It's not about that. It's not about the soil can't maintain it in America, so it's really good soil over there. We're making the synthetic opioids. It's not real. They're selling you synthetics. When you go to your doctor, he's not selling you a natural plant anymore. Was he ever? I don't know, but they're selling you synthetic opioids. Now the Jews, the Jewish leaders, would show us pictures, and people like Alex Jones, the Jewish leaders, family is mostly Jews, so he's a Jew. Everyone around him's mostly Jews, so he's a Jew. These people, they're lying to you. They just want to blame the heroin-addled white man for why you got to invade the Middle East. I can't believe you's a heroin addict. And you know what the odd thing is the people probably using fucking heroin are these liberals who, I hate, take that back. I'm gonna stop classifying people because Republicans just do things responsibly, and they don't tell you. They don't flash their guns in your face. You know, they don't want you to know they have a gun most of the time. You know, but these hippies, whatever side they're on, you know, protesting the wars, are most of the people using these opiates. So it does them a favor to learn the truth, because they won't be infringing upon their own rights. They won't have to sit there and feel conflicted in their head and feel like they're deceiving themselves and trying to deceive others by being like, oh, I'm against stealing opiates. And it's like, oh, but I want some opiates. It's not real. We're not doing that. What happened, even after just reviewing the simple fact, we don't need that. We can cultivate whatever plant we want, wherever we want. We're not idiots. We're not morons. It doesn't even take a botanist to freaking realize that stuff. I've spent years researching science behind plants, right? It doesn't take that. It takes that to do it perfect, to understand a lot about it, but it doesn't take that to successfully do that. You wouldn't have weed if people fucking couldn't figure out how to do it. Weed just doesn't naturally grow very well, especially indoors. You got to know what you're doing, or you get nothing. The opiates, a little harder to grow, but it's a lie. But it's just a lie. You can make them, but it's a lie because they're just making them in a lab. They don't need soil to make synthetic opiates in a lab. But that's not the only thing. See, the story is nothing but they got to come up with new bits over and over and over to get you really lost and really confused. In case you slip out a little bit, they give you a new story to hold on to. You know? Oh, you figured out about Trump. Trump's family, oh my God, his bloodline's mixing with these same people. He's surrounded by these same people. Oh no! Pizzagate! That's what's important, not the election. Pizza, pizza, pizza. Because pizza's really good too. It sounds cool too. I mean, you make me want it. It's like, woo, pizza. Double pepperoni and cheese. So they've got more stories. They got more deceptions that come out. Oh, and you guys probably never even heard the original deception because you probably never even looked into it about opiates are hard to grow in American soils. And it's fertile environment over there for opiates. But that's not it. We burnt down their opium fields. We aren't over there to steal their plants. They bragged in the media we burnt their opium fields. And to kind of help with the deception, they said they moved the opiate fields to the United Kingdom, to somewhere in the Britain area, right? I was told not to call it United Kingdom, but on the map, that's what it's called. And it's a group of people, and it's still, I mean, that's still what it says on the map. They said they moved the plants there. So now, we don't need to go to war for opiates anymore, right? But still pushing the lie. This was 8 years ago, I think. I always think it's like 2020 or 2022. But about 8 years ago, I believe, they talked about moving the plants. And, you know, but it doesn't matter. People were already still pushing the deception that you were invading the Middle East to steal their opiates. But, okay. So, people are still pushing the idea that we're invading the Middle East to steal opiates. You know, some of them. A lot more people are awake to global domination. But like I said, no, not at all. No one's awake to global domination almost. They're awake to Zionism, which is another safety net. But there's still people pushing the idea we're over there for gold, oil, and opiates. And none of those make sense. You don't invade a nation. They don't have all this gold. We're not like bringing back like plane fucking full of gold every day, right? You can't even do that. There's not that much gold in the world to have a plane, to get a new plane full of it every day. For 20, 30, 40 years. So that's a deception. They're pushing that. So, they're just lying about everything around the opiates. Now, when we get to this epidemic where everyone's on it, oh, wait a minute. Why is it such a bad epidemic? You know, if we got to invade nations because it's so good, we got to invade nations to steal all their opiates. What are we going to start blaming fucking heroin users now for, oh, it's Iggy Pop's fault. Soundgarden invaded the Middle East to steal some heroin. You know, Linkin Park, they're invading the Middle East to steal heroin. I mean, literally, I went down if they did try to be like, remember that time, Americans, when junkies made us invade the Middle East? Racist, anti-Arab junkies. The government and the media come out with some video like that. Like, scapegoating it and confusing, obfuscating, and denying and deflecting even more. I mean, I went down, it's just another logical step with all these things involved. But I thought we need these wars so we can steal the opiates. But who's going to use the opiates if we're going to shut them down and there's an epidemic and we got to quit giving people opiates? Oh, when are the wars going to end then? You know, oh, there's an opiate epidemic. Might as well shut the wars down, you know, because so we don't bring any more opiates in. Oh, wait. Who's giving in the opiates? Oh, the government is. The doctors are, mostly. Oh, the government approved doctors. The government ran doctors. The government servants. Which shouldn't be at all. It's another one of those times about got hit. That rarely happens in this neighborhood. I mean, seriously, every time that's happened, I've been in a video with you guys. I think almost every time. Maybe I wasn't the other day. I forget what happened the other day. It definitely wasn't a head-on. Every freaking head-on one was... I've been on a video with you guys. But anyways, I mean, what's their story here? Why are we still invading the Middle East? They're not going to even change this. They're going to keep giving you this bullshit. We're invading the Middle East for gold. You know, we're talking about the Jewish leaders on the left are going to keep telling us, Noam Chomsky, Democracy Now! TYT, going to keep telling us we're invading for opiates, even though the government's taking away everyone's opiates. They're talking about taking away the opiates. And they are. It's hard to get them. If you're actually in pain, they're going to start giving you psychological medications. And like I said at the start of the video, this ties into this. And you want to know the truth, is these opiates are one of the only antidepressants there are, and it's natural. It's a natural plant in its natural form. And I can tell you from using this stuff that there isn't, I don't want to say all or nothing here, especially if you would take like a ultra large dose of this stuff. Let's say you get your leg blown off in a war, you need a huge shot of morphine to block pain receptors. And that's that, right? That blocks your pain receptors. But I don't think that's actually how it works. I think it works as an antidepressant. It elevates your mood to the point you don't care that your legs laying there on the ground and you're splattered, you got blood splattered all over you, and that's your leg, and there might be a lot of problems going on, but you just don't care. You feel good now. That's the way it works. And so it kind of, it technically is the psychology drug that works, but they have all these other fake psychology drugs that do all this other bullshit that aren't anywhere near natural at all. And they've got to come out the new one all the time, because most of the time they're just shutting you down, making you want to kill yourself and stuff. All sorts of stuff. I mean, there's all sorts of problems with those. But the pain doctors are now switching to trying to give you psychological meds. You know, the stuff you get from a psychologist. They just your antidepressants and shit, not anything called painkillers, not anything that's known to like block a pain or a nerve. Like, they gave me some nerve medication, and I was like, okay, well, I mean, this might suck if you guys start cutting off my nerves, my brain's ability to sense my nerves, then my life might get pretty shitty if my normal day-to-day is going to be hampered. Like, how am I going to move my leg if you're actually giving me a drug that targets my nerves and calms them down or whatever? But then looking into the drug, that's not at all what it is. They're just testing it on people, and there's no research at all that it's a pain medication or nerve blocker. But I'll tell you what it did. What one of them did feel like, the one in specific, they first tried to put me on, it made me feel like I was fucking drunk. And if that's what you want, fuck it. But I don't want that, you know. I drank when I was a kid. I don't really drink anymore. It's a good medicine for social, to be social, especially if you're really antisocial. But I wasn't going to my, I wasn't going to fucking spinal doctors and shit like that to get drunk. That wasn't my goal. But these were psychological meds. So I'm learning this myself, that they're prescribing you the psychological meds instead of trying to give you what's always been known as pain relieving plants for millennia or whatever, or however long ago God created this stuff. And they're like just trying to fuck you up with all these other poisons that they're making, and they have a whole bunch they're trying to give you now, like even some of the synthetic stuff like tramadol that supposedly blocks pain for some people. That's just a SSRI. What happens, many of you, about 50% of the people who take tramadol, you experience really bad effects the next day. Commonly commonly they would call it withdrawal, but these doctors are like protecting this medication, and they don't even call it withdrawal. Like, you start calling it that, and they're like, oh, are you supposed to take it as recommended? It's like, no, motherfucker, I'm supposed to not take it because it makes me feel like shit. I'm not fucking not taking it as recommended. I'm not taking it. That was the end of it. Try to take half your dose. But what happens is they give you the SSRI, and that gives you something, that can give you something called serotonin syndrome, which is like, wow, I mean, that stuff is painful. And I would get that from, like, when I would get injuries, like, because I'm always athletic, you know, you see in my vids, I'm kicking bags. That shit is not healthy for you. Like, when me and my fucking teacher fought, sparred, whatever you want to call it, we injured each other, you know. Any sort of training I've done, injury. I've ride my bicycle, injury, you know. One time I rode my fucking racing bike on ice. Never rode a racing bike, you know. It was my first year having a racing bike, and it just wasn't in my head that, hey, I'm not on a mountain bike, I'm not on a BMX bike. This is not how to do it. But I needed, my car was out of commission because I was working on it, and I just needed I'm not sure if I was going to the shop to drop off some parts or what, but I was going to Staples to pick up something. But you know, I fucking went around the corner, woo, fucking injury, because I got thrown off my fucking bike. I thought I was fucking speed demon on an ice road, not just snow. It was ice. It was nothing but like a 2-inch layer of fucking ice on the roads, and yeah, that was a bad fucking injury. So, you know, that, I mean, that happens all the time. And then, well, that happens. Fucking, my legs fucked up. I can't move my legs. Might as well start doing something with my hands. I'm gonna injure my hands within a week. You're gonna injure yourself playing drums. You're gonna injure yourself playing guitar. Whatever you do, shit's gonna happen. So in the past, they would prescribe me, you know, whatever. When I go in there, corticosteroids, and you know, tramadol. Sometimes they give you the opiates, and it's like they give me the tramadol, and for a long time, also with the opiates. But the tramadol, it's just like, I wouldn't touch the shit. It's like, whatever, fuck this, because I would get the serotonin syndrome within a day, and it wouldn't really do anything for my pain either. But this is what happens when these assholes try to alter your natural plants, make natural illegal, and they want to sell you some new patent thing that they can overcharge everyone for. And, you know, trick society and all this, and poison society at the same time. So, they're trying to change the pain medication to a mental medication and all sorts of stuff. I mean, they're really just testing. These psychologists, it's a eugenics call. Like I said, this is a whole nother weeks of videos to discuss this. I've got some of these people on video and everything. I've been dealing with them. Been dealing with doctors forever. And they're just like a eugenics cult in a test. It's like a legal test field the government uses to test drugs on you. And they'll just pop all this shit in you, and it doesn't matter what you think, it doesn't matter how you feel. If you got a problem with what they're selling you, the cops are gonna show up, you know? If you want natural opiate pain relief, the cops might shoot you in the end even. They'll definitely not allow you to get it. And then you're gonna have to deal with some thugs and some criminals who might be shooting you and poisoning you just as well if you want to attempt to get that natural stuff. So they got this whole system of like death going on, and it's like from every angle. So you could talk about this on anything, but they're really pushing this opiate crisis. and it's just not real. Idiots overdose on opioids because they're taking too much. They don't need to be taking that much. They probably don't need opiates in the first place if they're going to take such large amounts. And there's so much more to it than just tying you into this eugenics cult and them lying about it. I've went around trying to talk about it on the news sites that talk about it and telling them they're terrorists and stuff, and they shut you down. Like, it's like I'm talking about Hitler smiled once. You know, I'm like, you go to a news site, your local NBC, CBS, ABC news site, and say Hitler smiled once, you're banned. You're never going to come back. You can say a lot of shit. You guys know it's like YouTube. You can say a lot of shit. I'm saying shit. I'm saying lots of shits in this video, aren't I? That's not what gets you banned. Stop pushing the idea that anyone's getting banned for fucking belligerent, foul-mouthed bullshit. That's how fucking men speak when in private, you know? They don't sit around like, oh, I can't believe that nice, good person, crackhead next door just robbed me. You're like, go and get that fucker. I mean, it doesn't matter how you speak or how anyone speaks. They're not banning you from these places, really, for any of this. Yeah, look at my videos. I've been showing you guys in my videos. I've been pushing the envelope. They don't care. I even made the Tommy Robinson video titled the way it was just to show you that's not going to happen. They aren't going to ban me because I call Tommy Robinson a bitch. He is a bitch. He's a fucking pussy. He's scared to fucking name the Jewish leaders, the so-called Jews, the synagogue of Satan. He's scared to just call them that. He's scared to fucking even say the word globalist, I bet. But I did that for a reason. I titled that video for that reason. Now maybe a lot of stuff I do is impossible for other people to see till I explain it. But when I go around explaining stuff like that to you, that gives them, you know, that gives them ideas. So I can't tell you everything. There are things I do, like if I try to look stupid, if I allow myself to look somewhat stupid in a presidential election type video, I'm doing that on purpose. I'm allowing that to happen on purpose. I've already told you I've made simple flaws in videos and thrown the whole video out the frickin' window. I do some of this stuff for reasons other than what you're thinking. And that's the point, is I'm showing you I'm doing multiple things at once, you know, when I did that. So this video is liable to be banned because I mentioned something about safe drug use, responsible drug use, drug education. And they want to remove that. Psych Substance channel is under attack. You know, the Neurotropics channel I haven't discussed him by name. He has been under attack. You know, your mate Tom has been under attack. And these people aren't trying to tell you how great it is to do drugs. They're specifically trying to educate you. See, that's what real drug users do. I don't provide anyone anything anymore. I talk to people who are hippies who should know things, and I still make sure to educate them on what's happening, you know? And hopefully that doesn't get this video banned, but you never know, because I'm talking about drugs. But this is a very vital subject to them because they're criminals. The system, the cops, the government, the media pundits, the media owners are all in bed with Big Pharma. I'm a conspiracy theorist, right? Arnon Milchan, Mossad agent, Regency Films, does not own Big Pharma, right? I'm lying. He's not Mossad either. He's lying. He lied when he said that. So, it's way, way deeper. They're trying, I looked at the local opiate crisis. I was going to go there. Turns out you got to pay to get in. And they would probably not let someone like me who's not in a suit in there. But who knows? Maybe I'll still show up. I don't care. I don't care what they think or what they want. I know what they think and what they want, and it's bad news. So I wouldn't listen to them anyways. The Opiate Summit. Who's going to it? It's all psychology doctors. It's like psychology board there and everything. This is all about transferring junkies and people in pain to the eugenics test subject arm of the government. We already know the psychology department has been electrocuting people. They prey on non-whites, women, white women, and white children. White men don't put up with this shit. White men were the people in my life who told me all the time never to go near these people. And they're weak cowards. These psychology doctors, most of these doctors are weak cowards. They're scared to stand up for what's right. They're scared to stand up to the government. They're scared of losing their jobs. Because the government is terrorist. They've got to go along with the terrorist or else. But that's it. That there's the local media, everyone, they're censoring me more often. I've got like 100% censorship rate, I believe, from talking about changing the government because of these terrorists and their fake drug scams. You know, someone was complaining yesterday, you know, at the local media, it's odd that, you know, now the government and these mega corporations have control of weed. It's like, yeah, I just like, hey, vote for me, and I'll see most of these people tried. I'll see like half the government tried and executed on genocide, you know, terrorism, subversion, crimes against humanity. We can try them within America and probably get 25% of the government doctor, lawyers, you know, enforcers executed on proper charges. But at the same time, you know, if the UN wasn't created by the Jewish leaders as the League of Nations in the Jewish motherland, New York, they also have charges for genocide and crimes against humanity, which we can level against all these people. But they want to shut that down. The local media are scared. Every people working. Now, I started the video saying be nice to these local people, but yeah, never target a low-level person. Always go for the head of the snake, and the rest of the snake can die after that. Cut off the tail of the snake just regenerates. That's where that comes from. Cutting off your finger, you regenerate. Putting a knife into your heart, it's going to be harder to regenerate. They are really scared of people waking up to this. This is like such a low-level eugenics arm. Such a stealth eugenics arm that it's gotten by so far. No one really cares. Every now and then you're like, oh, remember when they used to electrocute people at those places? Glad they don't do it anymore. Like, no. That's a whole nother video. I'll get into it before I make this video much longer. They're trying to shut you down when you talk about this stuff and expose it. The local media pundits are, because they know they're criminals. And I got no problems telling them that they're terrorists, you know, targeting populations weak. weak populations because they're weak cowards themselves. They're siding with terrorist governments. They're going against people who actually need medicine and stuff. No, they're lying about this. There is no epidemic. When you look into it, when you look into the actual cases of people dying, it's always something like some idiot taking some super massive dose. Should never be. If a doctor gave him that dose, yeah, that doctor should be fucking executed. When you're put in a position of understanding and control, even the Bible states that those who are given power are to be held at a higher standard, are to be, if you don't know what you're doing, then you can be forgiven. But when you are blessed and you are granted by the gods themselves, then you are to be held to a higher standard and charged with a much higher charge. And these people, from the media to the DEA to the politicians to the presidents, they are all in on these deceptions. And it's just more than this one thing. But this is what's in the news right now. This is what they're pushing. And it's just as simple as starting to look into it as it is, and it will begin unfolding. Everything else, just like everything else, you just got to start looking into it, and right away you know what's going on. You know, and you guys already know. Those of you on my channel already know that we're not invading the Middle East for opiates. That's a lie. That's the blame white man. Devil white man, use a junkie. I mean, that is the entire narrative here. Devil white man's a junkie who's got to invade the Middle East, and you need a ton of drugs because you's a junkie. You's a white supremacist junkie. Man, I don't even want to start getting pissed off thinking about. I mean, because it just brings up so many things at once, right? But it's all a scam. There is no opiate epidemic. There's an idiot epidemic in America. And that's fostered by the government trying to make people stupid. Trying to dumb people down. That's all there is. People overdose. You look into these overdoses, like I said. And it's not like, oh, someone accidentally took, 4 of the pain pills and now they're dead. No. These are people taking massive doses and dying. And most of the time, it's not something a doctor should be giving them. And I don't think, I've read other people's comments who were talking about it, and they were saying there was other links to deception that even I haven't looked into. So I'd rather not, say it. But I believe they're right. I mean, if you're smart enough to be questioning this, then clearly you have already seen their deception. And in the video right there, I could blab on a little bit more about it. But it's total deception, and it needs stopped. The government needs out of our lives. The government needs to be in our lives, but our servants working for us. We need to have politician day. Celebrate the politicians, and the politicians can go outside and wash everyone's car for them. That'd be a great day. Put these fucking pansies to work. These suits never seen a day of work in their lives. They've never had to fix their air conditioner. They've never had to dig a fucking hole in their backyard, to change the soil elevation. They've never had to do anything. Maybe Trafficking did, right? Maybe Trafficking did. Obviously, he died on his farm. It's hard to say a farm boy is not doing some real work. But it's just bullshit. They're lying to you. They're deceiving you. And I'm sure it just goes on and on. Like it always does. They want to funnel people to these eugenics cults. And these eugenics cults are not there to help you. They are a way for the government to test on people and to sell you drugs at exorbitant prices that it's just crazy. They just want to rob you. It's another way they take taxes through the back door. They have a million ways of taking taxes. The empire's falling apart because people just letting the terrorists keep running them. And that's just what's going to happen until you... I know people put Trump into power because Trump was talking about fucking putting Hillary in prison. But let me tell you, when I say this shit, I don't give a fuck. You know, they can kill me. And they'll have to. And they'll have to put me in prison. They got plenty of laws for people like me to protect themselves. But I don't care. I will see to it. If people put me in a position, I'll participate in Politicians' Day after I make it a legal holiday. I will see to it that most of these people end up worse than in prison. Prison is a piece of cake. Although Bubba wants his hands on these people, and I say kudos Bubba. Kudos to Bubba. But I don't think that's enough. I don't think crimes against humanity, just for this one thing alone, it's all over the place how many charges they can face. 100 counts of crimes against humanity for each one of the government workers, for each DEA agent, each federal agent, each politician, each judge, every single one. That's just one charge alone, 100 counts. Maybe 100's a little offhand. Maybe it's more realistically we can put 5 of this one charge, ultra high charge, be seen by the UN, and there's just countless charges below that. I'm not like Trump. I'm not going to be like, oh, Hillary's my friend, the government's my friend now. No. These people could blackmail me, and they would learn. They would learn very quickly if I gain positions in power. And it can't be just the representatives and senators don't have the power needed to fight these people off. But if these people try to blackmail me, I'm not sure if you would see me in prison instantly or if the world would just side with me. But they would literally fucking be missing a lot of their teeth. I mean, let someone do this. I'm being serious. There's nothing not serious about me. There's the only thing. I'm not going to keep making these videos. You know what I'm saying? It's pointless to keep blabbing. I'm not one of these. Everyone else is just going to keep talking. Alex Jones just keeps talking. I'm not that. I'm going far out of my way to do this talking shit here. That physically hurts me because I talk so little in my life in other health issues. But talking seems to be the one thing that really fucks it up the most. Because I'm just not used to it. Kind of like if your leg's in a cast for 6 months, you can't walk anymore. You might damage your joints if you just try to walk right away without some sort of crutch or something because you won't have any muscles anymore. It'll be wasted. So I don't really want to keep making these videos, but for now I'm going to. I'm going to give people a chance to put my name out there as a candidate. I understand there's a $5,000 fee or something to become president